Hey, hey, hey. How are we gonna do this? This seems a bit. Yeah, alright, let's go with this. So, what's up? What's up? Today's video seems kind of funky. And guess where I got it from? Haha. The script today, it's anime, by the way, manga. Only a fool would include death as part of his plan, his own plan. And that's basically what I took from the manga. And then I basically wrote it again, but only a fool would include failure as part of his own plan. Accounting for failure and indulging with the same. Oh, so accounting for failure and including it aren't the same thing. That's basically what I wrote at the bottom. So here, only a fool would include death as part of his own plan, and only a fool would include failure as part of his own plan. So accounting for failure and indulging it aren't the same thing. So the beauty of maybe I should set the stage up a bit. Okay, and in the series, basically, a very strong opponent versus okay, a ridiculously strong opponent versus a strong opponent. And strength is not really power, right? Strength is skills. It's whatever magic you can do, whatever sword techniques you have. It's not really just being able to lift a building or something like this. But the other person can basically lift the building and has a power to kind of like take your life away if you're scared of it. And it was a good confrontation between her and basically like the protagonist of this setting. And what happened was basically she was like, "You never considered that I might kill you?" And then his response is, "Only a fool would include death as part of his plan." Then why does it sound different, right? Because normally, like when we're planning for something, we never plan for failure, correct? And here is basically like accounting for failure and including it aren't the same thing. Let's just take a step towards our thought process when we're approaching something. Have you ever found yourself kind of going, for example, on an outing or a day out or something, and then kind of going, kind of wishing, like, I hope it doesn't rain, for example, or I hope my friend doesn't lose his shit because we're used to it. And that small shit, right? Like, I hope things go don't go wrong, or I hope things go well. Uh, from from an energetic perspective, that sounds very much less trusting of a good day. It's like a football team basically fighting another team, and instead of saying, "I hope I want us to win," or "This is how we would win," they would say, "I hope we don't lose." I am getting it, but I'm trying to explain it to myself more than it is I'm trying to explain it to you. So what's the difference between accounting for failure and including it? Accounting for failure is taking a step back and going like, how would we actually like not meet the desired results? That is you accounting for failure. And naturally, that approach gives you responsibility, allows you to take that responsibility, allows you to take into consideration the elements that would be responsible for that failure. So effectively, what you're doing is uh, I want to say, taking record of the things that could go wrong. and planning around them, right? So technically, you're excluding failure from your plan by 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 accepting it, by acknowledging it. That's a good word. By acknowledging it, acknowledging where failure could happen, and on the other side, including it. And see, here's the thing: if you make a plan, everything between A and the plan succeeding is a potential, including the plan fit. And no, so it's not about the plan succeeding. It's about the end result being successful, and not successful in a positive way. Successful as in, like, if I basically wanted to chop a tree, again, I'm using this extreme example, then as the tree falls, which I don't think is a good thing, uh, you're succeeding. So success is not necessarily always in growth. It could also be like in death. It could be in uh, mediating something else. I have no idea. Just like be creative. So in the setting, only a fool would include failure as part of his own plan. And the whole fool part is basically uh, you could only be a fool and include something you don't want by not accepting it as a possibility or not acknowledging it as a possibility. So naturally, I got my reflection on it is always when I'm planning, I'm always looking at how things could succeed. But the center of it all is like, it's a lot easier for you to succeed by avoiding the things that would make you fail. Because if you're only looking at the things that would succeed, then basically you're including everything that could happen. Everything. Whilst if you're creating a plan around the things that could fail, then regardless of what you do, success is the end result. Naturally, we're comparing failure to, like, again, let's go to the chopping the tree, for example. Uh, I'm going to chop a tree, forgetting the axe could lead to failure. Maybe I don't have an axe, maybe I need basically like some sharp metal. I don't know, right? Top of all of that, like if I go and the tree is actually tough, like I use the axe and the first, let's say, half of the chopping is good until the axe becomes basically blunt, and then I have to sharpen it. So including a sharpener would include success and would promote success, and not including a sharpener would promote a failure. So it's just a fun way of laying it out, because normally most of the shit that we actually pick up in our day is included passively. And you become more of yourself when you exclude the crap that normally affects you. Again, like, you're choosing how you're ending up. So something that could affect you positively could affect me negatively. But the choice is excluding them. And that's basically a form of accounting for them and acknowledging their existence within the plan. But then they exist, which means now I know not to step in that direction. And there was just to let you guys know, in the anime he actually like lost, but he lost in a way where he didn't die, and he ended up succeeding not in defeating her, but in doing what he wanted to do within the realm of the environment. And so eventually, basically, he was saved by his friends, and things went better. Yes, saved by his friends. I don't think like most of us have it when it comes to life. Which is the thing that attracted me to this basically conversation or declaration, is strictly because like I'm doing my things and I sit with myself and I say, okay, what am I doing wrong? And what are the things that I'm doing right? But like this abstract outlook where you kind of look at what success could look like and what failure could look like, it's a lot easier for us to be creative with our successes. Literally, because our success in that situation is something out of the world. It's not there. It hasn't manifested yet. So we don't know how it would look like. And it's easier for us to kind of paint it in any color we want. But the truth is the failures are ones that probably have or probably exist. And they're easier for us to kind of like to not abstract. They're easiest for us to corner, to locate. But we have to have this abstract look, is like walking literally on a field, and instead of pointing at where the mines aren't in a minefield, instead of pointing where the mines aren't, you kind of go like there's a mine here, so automatically you move 1 foot to the left. And the really just playing around with that back and forth with like, oh, here is a safe place to re-look at my plan or re-look at my movement, because that's where reflection comes in. But honestly, when it comes to the planning, it's a lot easier, simpler, and more straightforward to kind of like look at where the mines are. And then you walk around them and then you go like, okay, should I walk in this direction or that direction? These are where the mines, this is where I've walked so far, and that is my goal. So it's really just that game that you play, the back and forth between abstracting your own success and kind of interacting with the reality of what failures that exist there. And so a fool will include these failures by like rejecting that possibility or just not acknowledging that they could happen. And I feel that's where your like overly confident people kind of like dive into like, I know I can do it. It's like that kind of like structure is a lot safer to kind of prevent it from falling, and it's a lot easier to kind of like just add shit to it without consideration, without kind of like, I don't know, the elements that really matter to you reaching your goal. Whatever, man, it's a video. I love you guys.